On a quiet morning in 2016, the TAWA Marine Sanctuary tucked along the southern coast of New Zealand's South Island was calm and visitor-free. It was during these peaceful hours that routine internal training sessions were held, away from the crowds, giving trainers and marine animals space to connect in a more natural, focused setting. Among those working that day was 30-year-old Nathan Ranji, a respected animal trainer known for his calm demeanor, deep love for nature, and unwavering dedication. With several years of experience, Nathan was trusted not only for his skill, but for the quiet patience he brought to his work. He believed strongly in nonverbal communication between humans and animals, an approach rooted in trust, consistency, and mutual respect. Nathan had been assigned one of the sanctuary's most challenging marine mammals, Hiku, a powerful whale with a complex temperament. Despite the difficulties, Nathan had forged a steady relationship with the animal, earning the admiration of his peers. That morning, like many before it, was meant to be another step in building that fragile bond grounded in trust and routine. Hiku was no ordinary orca, weighing nearly 6,000 pounds, about 2,700 kilograms. He was a powerful and imposing presence at the TAWA Marine Sanctuary. Originally transferred from a different training facility after it shut down, Hiku brought with him a reputation as both remarkably intelligent and unpredictably moody. Trainers noted his impressive ability to respond to conditioned cues, could follow complex commands, and often learned routines faster than other whales. But that same brilliance came with a cost. Despite his talents, Hiku's temperament was far from consistent. Staff had documented episodes where he disengaged from training sessions, either refusing to perform expected behaviors or drifting off to swim, alone ignoring commands entirely. While such actions weren't immediately alarming, they were frequent enough to be noted in his behavioral logs. Some senior trainers quietly raised concerns about his underlying stress levels, citing the potential risks of working with an animal that showed clear signs of emotional unpredictability. The incident unfolded during what was supposed to be a routine morning training session that Nathan Ranji, a well-respected trainer, carried out alone. This solo session, however, violated established safety protocols that required at least 2 trainers to be present during any in-water interaction with the orcas. There was no crowd, no distractions, just Nathan and Hiku in the pool. Without warning, Hiku made an abrupt, unexplained turn in the water. Nathan, caught off guard, had no time to react. In a split second, the orca circled back, clamped his powerful jaws around Nathan, and dragged him into deeper water. What followed resembled a predatory pattern seen in the wild: rapid circling, deep dives, and repeated biting. It was not just a physical assault, it was a behavioral spiral that shocked even the most experienced staff watching from nearby. What made the attack even more devastating was the complete lack of warning. There had been no signs of agitation, no refusal of commands, no surface-level aggression in the moments leading up to the incident. Everything happened in under a minute. The emergency response to the attack on Nathan Ranji was swift, but tragically ineffective. Although a support team was stationed nearby in the designated observation zone, they were caught off guard and failed to respond in accordance with established emergency protocols. The training session had been considered low risk, and without any prior warning signs, no one anticipated the situation would turn deadly in a matter of seconds. As Hiku's assault unfolded, responders attempted to deploy standard emergency interventions. These included distraction techniques, acoustic deterrence, and even the release of net barriers meant to separate the orca from the trainer. But none of these measures had an immediate effect. Hiku's movements were too fast, too forceful, and too erratic. His behavior mimicked predatory instincts, and he remained locked in a pattern of circling and submerging, making it nearly impossible for rescue personnel to get close without putting themselves in danger. By the time the team managed to retrieve Nathan from the water, it was too late. He had sustained catastrophic injuries, with deep wounds to his chest and neck consistent with powerful orca bites. Efforts to revive him at poolside failed, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. In the wake of Nathan Rangi's tragic death, an immediate internal investigation was launched by the TAWA Marine Sanctuary. The findings were clear and damning. There had been a serious breach of established safety protocols. Specifically, Nathan had conducted the in-water training session without a second trainer present, violating a fundamental rule designed to prevent precisely this kind of catastrophe. The incident was deemed preventable, and questions were raised about why such a basic safety measure had been ignored. Regulatory authorities responded swiftly. The orca training facility was ordered to shut down temporarily, while a full audit of its procedures and safety protocols was conducted. Investigators reviewed surveillance footage, staff logs, and communication records to piece together the moments leading up to the attack. The goal was not only to understand what went wrong, but also to ensure it could never happen again. As part of the corrective actions, all training sessions involving direct physical contact with orcas were immediately suspended. Trainers were prohibited from entering the water with any whale, regardless of the animal's past behavior or temperament. Additionally, Hiku was placed under a strict management protocol. He was removed from the performance roster and banned from participating in any future training sessions involving close human interaction. The tragedy sparked widespread reaction from the public and conservation communities alike. Animal welfare organizations called for a re-evaluation of using captive orcas for entertainment, arguing that such practices pose risks to both humans and animals. Locally, the community mourned the loss of Nathan Rangi, a beloved figure known for his deep connection to marine life. His family held a private memorial and used the moment to raise awareness about the dangers of exploiting wild animals in artificial environments. In honor of Nathan Rangi, a quiet garden beside the main pool was renamed Nathan's Cove, featuring a memorial stone engraved with his image and a heartfelt tribute. His legacy also led to lasting institutional change. Solo in-water training sessions were permanently banned, and advanced monitoring systems using infrared cameras and AI-driven motion analysis were installed to track animal behavior in real time. A 3-tier warning system was introduced to flag early signs of instability in marine mammals. Nathan's story is now taught in marine trainer certification programs as a powerful reminder of the importance of discipline, awareness, and respect for wild animals.
Luca Morales has always belonged to the ocean. At 28, he's living in Managua, learning the ropes of construction in the noise and sprawl of the capital. But no matter how far he goes, his mind drifts back to San Juan del Sur, the small coastal town where he grew up, where the Pacific waves were his first playground. Surfing wasn't just something Luca did. It was how he learned to breathe, to move, to trust himself. The sea raised him with its rhythm and unpredictability, teaching him more than any classroom ever could. As a teenager, he spent every spare moment in the water, chasing swells at dawn and coming home sunburned but smiling. Now in the city, life feels heavier. There's progress, yes, but also distance. That's why whenever he gets the chance, Luca heads back to the coast, back to his board, the salt air, and the people who know him best. Out there on the waves, everything makes sense again. It's not just about surfing, it's about staying grounded, remembering where he comes from, and never letting go of the life that shaped him. At the end of 2024, with the new year approaching, Luca Morales finally made the trip back to San Juan del Sur. It had been months since he'd seen his hometown, the stretch of golden sand, the slow rhythm of coastal life, and most importantly, his family. The holiday break gave him the perfect reason to return. As buses poured travelers into the quiet town, Luca arrived with a small bag, his surfboard, and a heart full of anticipation. Home was just as he remembered: the salty air, the echo of laughter from the neighborhood, the smell of his mother's cooking drifting through the open windows. With relatives visiting and everyone gathering for New Year celebrations, the house buzzed with life. There were meals to prepare, stories to share, and traditions to keep alive, from lighting fireworks to the midnight toast under the stars. Though family time took center stage, Luca managed to steal a few early mornings for himself. Just after sunrise, while the town was still quiet, he grabbed his board and jogged barefoot to the shore. The waves weren't perfect, but that didn't matter. Each short session was a reset, a reminder of who he was beneath the layers of city life and daily stress. As the countdown to midnight neared, Luca stood among his loved ones, feeling grateful. The visit was brief, but it was enough: a few good waves, warm embraces, and a fresh start to a new year. January the 2nd began like any perfect day by the coast. With most of the holiday visitors gone and the house finally quiet, Luca Morales decided to spend the entire day at Playa Maderas, his favorite surf spot just north of town. The skies were clear, the tide looked promising, And after days of family gatherings, he was eager to reconnect with the waves on his own terms. What Luca didn't do, though, was something he and every seasoned local surfer usually treated as routine: check the morning marine alerts. It slipped his mind in the rush to leave early and catch the best swells. He grabbed his board, tossed it in the back of his cousin's truck, and headed out before sunrise, thinking only of the ocean ahead. That morning, a warning had been issued by a local fishing vessel. A massive, aggressive great white shark had been spotted lurking near Playa Maderas, an unusual and alarming sight in these waters. The message had spread among a few coastal circles, but not fast enough to reach everyone. Luca, unaware, paddled out alone into the quiet morning surf. The water was calm, eerily so. The usual chatter of other surfers was missing, no friendly shouts, no boards bobbing nearby. He welcomed the solitude, mistaking it for luck. But beneath the surface, something else was moving, something powerful, and it was watching. That day, what began as a peaceful escape would become something else entirely, a moment that would mark him forever. Luca caught the perfect wave, riding it like a pro. Balanced and in control, he flowed with the water, every movement smooth and sure. As the wave broke, he leapt off his board in a move he'd done countless times. But this time something went wrong. From below the surface, a shark shot upward with terrifying speed. In one violent moment, it clamped down on Luca and his board. The impact was sudden and brutal. There was no warning, no time to react. The attack happened in seconds. Nearby jet ski riders heard the splash but saw only the aftermath. A burst of red spread across the water, clouding the surface with blood. Shouts of panic echoed as they sped toward the scene. But the shark was already gone, disappearing as quickly as it had appeared. All that remained was Luca's shredded board and the stain in the water. The ocean, just moments earlier, full of excitement and motion, fell into a stunned silence. No one had expected this. It was a clear day, the surf was good, and Luca had been in his element. Now that calm had been shattered by a flash of violence, no one could stop. Witnesses were shaken, helpless to do anything but call for help and wait. The attack was over in less than a minute, but it left a permanent mark. Rescue teams searched the Pacific coast of Nicaragua for 2 full weeks, but Luca's body was never found. Divers' boats and drones swept the area day after day, hoping for a trace, anything that could bring closure. Nothing turned up. The sea had taken him completely. It was the first confirmed shark attack of 2025 in the region, shocking locals and tourists alike. The beach, known more for its calm swells than danger, suddenly felt different. Surfers became cautious. Lifeguards increased patrols. The ocean was no longer just a playground. It was a reminder of nature's unpredictability. In the days that followed, an outdoor memorial service was held on the beach. Hundreds gathered, family, friends, fellow surfers, and water sports enthusiasts who had never met Luca, but felt connected through a shared love of the sea. Candles flickered in the evening wind. Speeches were short, emotional, and raw. With no remains to bury, Luca's surfboard was placed at the center of the ceremony, standing in for a coffin. Wax still clung to the deck where his feet had been. It was a symbol of who he was, fearless, free, and completely at home in the water. The service ended with a paddle out. Surfers formed a circle beyond the break, holding hands, as they splashed water into the air, saying goodbye the way surfers do on the waves. Luca's case is just one of several early shark encounters reported in 2025. Experts are seeing a troubling pattern. Sharks are appearing closer to shore and more frequently than usual. Preliminary global data suggests this year could set a record for both shark attacks and fatalities. While investigations are ongoing, marine researchers point to possible causes like rising ocean temperatures, shifting migration patterns, and declining fish stocks, all of which may be pushing sharks into new territories, including popular swimming and surfing areas. Coastal communities are on high alert. Beaches are increasing patrols, issuing more warnings, and installing drone surveillance to spot sharks before they get too close. Still, response times remain limited, and attacks can happen in seconds. Officials urge oceangoers to stay informed, follow safety guidelines, and avoid entering the water during peak shark activity times such as dawn and dusk. Luca's tragedy is a stark reminder. Even experienced watermen aren't immune. The ocean is changing, and with it the risks are rising. 2025 may only be starting, but the warning signs are clear. This could be a dangerous year in the water. The story of Luca Morales is more than a tragedy, it's a stark warning. Luca was a skilled surfer, raised by the Pacific Ocean, deeply connected to its rhythms and beauty. But even for someone like him, one moment of missed caution proved fatal. On January 2, 2025, a single overlooked warning led to an encounter that cost him his life. His death, the first shark attack of the year on Nicaragua's Pacific coast, shook not only his hometown but the global water sports community. And it wasn't an isolated event. Early data suggests 2025 could see a record number of shark attacks worldwide driven by warming oceans, shifting ecosystems and human activity, pushing further into marine territory.